Reporting in public.
We're here tonight to solicit testimony from our citizens on the county's Attainable Housing Strategies Initiative. And as I think most people know, we had a presentation from planning board staff at the end of the summer. We had a question and answer information session about a week ago. And now we would like to solicit the views of our citizens. Now, these views are going to be transmitted to the county council. And we're also encouraging people to write to the county council letters or emails, and you can also send them to the town hall, and we will forward them. And also tonight, if you're testifying and you don't have written testimony, we will make sure that what you say, the staff will summarize it and send those comments to the county council. And I don't know, did you want to add anything about where we are in the process? So go ahead.
No, I don't think.
Except we might want to say that no legislation has actually been introduced. Right. So hopefully, if it ever is, we will go through all this again. But right now, it's basically to send your ideas and opinions to the county council. And I will ask the town manager to discuss what the timing is for tonight, because we're only going to be here for an hour.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since this public hearing is for only 1 hour, we request that you only speak for 2.5 minutes. As the time approaches, will be you and I.
But if they want to elaborate, you can elaborate later. But we want to get as many people as possible to speak within the time. And there's another opportunity on October Wednesday at 5:30.
5:30?
Or 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. And next, this Wednesday at 5 o'clock and the following Tuesday at noon. And I'm getting emails from people asking for the link for tonight. Maybe you could send out a town blast, Justin?
Yeah.
The link. Thank you.
Okay, and I will ask the town manager to call the people, and we'll start in the
room. Rohit was first in.
Okay. Please remember to state your stream.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Rohit Khanna. I live on Fallstone. And I provided my written testimony to you. So I will just summarize the key points. I think that it's important for our town to take a position, and I hope that at the end of these listening sessions, the town council will send a message to the county council along the lines of some of our neighbors, for example, the village of Cherry Chase, clearly expressing the town's opposition to the proposal on the Attainable Housing Strategy Initiative. I'm going to really try to summarize three specific areas of concern that I have. And I want to, I hope that I will be able to do this in 2.5 minutes. The first point is that the planning department's recommendations don't coincide with the data. That the county's own numbers show that there is sufficient zone capacity for the projected, forecasted number of households in Montgomery County. What is a problem is that there is not going to be sufficient housing for those making 65% of the area median income. In other words, the problem is affordable housing. Below market rate housing for those at lower incomes is what the county council should be targeting, and which it does not with this proposal, which focuses only on market rate housing. I have a lot more numbers that I can go into in detail, but the bottom line is that the county is in fact building dwellings at a rate that matches the population growth. So about 3,000 odd new dwellings per year. which at the current rate would meet the target that has been set. The second issue is that the planning department did not adequately, if at all, assess the possible economic and social impacts of upzoning. Now, the problem is not just that we're not going to be consistent with the data. The concern I have is that, in fact, those who understand economics and understand the market can very well conclude that the situation is going to become worse with this proposal. And that is what is so egregious in the proposal. And let me point out a few things, for example. If you look at the example of what happened in Minneapolis, when the upzoning was done there, valuations skyrocketed, property tax rates went up, lower income residents had to sell, 20% of houses were sold to investing companies. That's the kind of future we're looking at, especially, rather ironically, in less expensive neighborhoods. So the problem is that you're not only going to have not more housing, you're going to actually have people who have lived in their homes for a long time possibly losing their homes because they're going to be outbid by aggressive bidders who want to and can build rental multiplexes. But it's much more than that. Because this strategy.
We'll give you another 30 seconds, yeah.
And so if you have a problem where now multiplexes replace single-family homes, because this doesn't talk about expanding the stock of housing. It actually talks about replacing single-family homes with multi-family dwellings. The price of single-family homes will go up because the supply of that will decline. So you solve one problem, you create another. And the bottom line is that if you have a huge market for building market rate housing, why would developers spend a penny building affordable housing, which is a loser for them? So in fact, all the capital, labor, and material in this region is going to go into market rate housing. So the bottom line is that in fact, it's going to make the situation worse on affordable housing. And the last point I want to make is that the planning department has minimized, in my opinion, the potential impacts of infrastructure in schools. There is no economic basis to argue that this will be only a few houses, only a few homes in Montgomery County. If you have a profit motive and you can make 14% profit margin on multiplex housing, why would you do for 10, 12% on single family? Why would you do anything less on affordable housing? You will go after every possible home. Thanks to our very diligent Maya Hyman in our neighborhood, we even know the numbers. The 15 homes sold in Somerset last 1 year, 8 of those homes are below $2 million. If half of those had been converted to quadplexes, at this rate, the population of Somerset will go up 20% in 5 years. Who can handle this? None of us have figured out what the impacts would be if each neighborhood is a 20% increase in population. So, what I'd like to conclude by saying is that I'm not being a NIMBY, I'm being a NIMC, not in my county. This is bad public policy, and it's got nothing to do with whether I want a quadplex next to me or not. Personally, I don't, but the more important thing is you should look at facts and one should analyze the economics and the fiscal impacts, and that's not being done. And that's the message I hope we will send to the county council. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will make sure that all your other testimony has been.
Mr. Bennett?
No, immediately, no.
Okay.
I'll listen, but
Did anyone else in the,
Well, next week,
I'm listening.
come forward, sir? Remember, 3 minutes, please.
he just went up a half a minute.
I'm Matthew Fink on Dorset Avenue. I've lived in town for 43 years. So I've seen a lot happen here. With this proposal, when I first read about it, heard about it, I thought it was a great idea because I have a daughter who's a school teacher, a husband's a teacher. Those people need housing in every part of the country. But then when I dug into it a bit, I realized not only is this a little off base, it's crazy. It's an insane idea. It won't work. And I learned that at my gym because I go to a trainer's gym on Wisconsin Avenue next to Trader Joe's. And a couple of months ago, my trainer, Will Fierro, said, "You want to walk around the block in Wall Street?" So I walked around, saw these three ugly white townhouses. And I said, "Gee, what's the story, Will?" He said, "Oh, the developer bought that for about $1.5 million a couple of years ago. He's selling those, I think, for $3.4 million, $3.6 million a piece." That's an amazing example. The other thing is I got into this largely through John Barry's work and read different things and documents. I found out when it started, the proposal had the name affordable housing. Affordable housing. Well, that's a good thing, good for my daughter, but that's not what's going to happen. Now the proponents, have changed the name to attainable housing. It's a confession, a very strong confession that it's not going to be affordable. So we're going to get very expensive houses. And I can give you an example of my house. My wife died 8 years ago. I had to have the house appraised, and the appraiser came in with two numbers at that time. If I sold to a human being, a family, I get about $1.6 million. If I sold to a developer, I'd get $2.2 million. And that's probably, wow. Take those numbers at 50% now, it'll be like somebody in some family would give me $3 million. The developer would give me $4 or $4.5 million. So I think economically, the proposal just doesn't work. It's an ideological move. I can't find the phrase in the documents, but they kind of said in the latest document, yeah, this is, we waited, we, the planning board, let this develop too far, we're going to get deep aggressive. So it's not really an economic proposal. Second, I'm personally troubled, only as I got into this, that the council has not acted before. I went to the meeting at BCC, about 500 people. I ran into 3 friends from 3 different, other towns. And they all said, "Oh, we don't hear from Somerset." So I kind of find that, and these people had spoken out. They had signs, petitions, and we're still hearing it. And third, I think we may be on the beginning of a crisis on this. If I understand it, on the ballot, you will not only have Harris and Trump, we're going to have a proposal to limit the county executive to 2 terms. Ehrlich, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, sorry, Elrich has been a strong opponent of this, and this proposal would end his term. The strongest guy against this in government is going to be term thrown out, limited, and that's happening in 2 weeks' time. So there's a bit of a crisis here, and I guess I'd like to see some leadership here where we like organize the town to go vote, people in town to go vote against.
Quiet, baby.
So that's, I'm sorry. So that's all I have to say. I'm not as prepared as
Thank you.
Mr.
Yeah,
Rowan.
you're excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Comments.
You got my
Thank you,
point.
sir.
Am I for or against the proposal?
you.
I'll let everybody learn.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Is anybody else in the room?
Can I listen to other speakers first and then speak if they're?
You can speak anytime you want. Yeah. Okay, I'll have the town manager call on the next person.
Okay, if you would like to speak and you're on Zoom, please use the raise hand function.
And then turn on your video.
Pretty good.
Nobody raise their hand.
Please, if you would like to speak over Zoom, please raise your hand so I can see you on the screen.
Can I say something to the people on Zoom? To those people on Zoom, you might be hesitant to speak, but if you just want to say something as little as, "I am for this plan," or "I am against this plan," that would help us, the council, to then represent the town. We want to represent what people want, and if we don't hear a yay or a nay from you, that will make it hard for us. So please, if you don't want to talk, or send EJ a note that says, "I'm for it" or "I'm against it," if you don't want to
Right.
speak.
But anyway, if nobody wants to speak, that's fine. And you can send letters to us, your testimony.
Notes?
And there's 2 other opportunities to come and speak. And I also urge anyone who's new to the issue, there's lots of information available on the website. There's the information session we had twice, and there's also all the documents themselves.
We have a link to that information
Yeah.
session where you
Yeah.
can see the plan if you haven't seen it or gone to any of the other listening sessions that Andrew Friesen had where the planning board came in and actually presented it, but we have our own private one.
Okay. All right, so Elizabeth, you want to come forward? Sure.
This would be a very simple.
That's okay. Name and street.
Elizabeth Berwick, Dorset. Thank you very much for doing this. I think it's great you're taking a pulse of the town. I am against this and I've written to the council. And for many of the same reasons that Rohit has cited, I do not think this is going to solve the problem of affordable housing in any way. And I also think it seems rationally done and radically done, given that it would affect 82% of the county in one fell swoop. I don't think the impacts have been studied. I don't think residents have been given, they've been invited to sessions where they can learn more about it. But it just, there's something, I think it's not only not good government, but it's not good problem solving. I think we need to start with what is the problem? How many units do we need that are affordable? How do we achieve that? And maybe there needs to be, you know, a pilot or a test or some studies, or this just seems like this enormous change that would have drastically affect the county that's not well thought out and not well studied and won't solve the problem that hasn't even been that well defined.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Who did? Okay. Okay, Colin.
Oh, I was, do you want to?
Did you want to talk? Sure, come on.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes. And you have to say your name and your street.
I did not dress for this.
It's okay.
I'm not my sweats.
We won't be sending, we're not going to send a video to the
You're
council.
fine.
So I'm Ginny Finger on Little Cumberland, and I totally oppose and completely agree with all the previous speakers. So I won't, unless you need me to take time, I'd say no. So.
No, thank you for
And thank
coming and,
So I really appreciate
engaging.
everyone's efforts, yours and residents to put so much thought into sharing information for people like me who are like, so appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's the best presentation.
Okay, I think we have one, I think we have one more. We have the Honorable Lucy Freeman. Is she sweet?
Lucy, can you turn on your camera and unmute yourself, please?
There she is.
Okay.
Okay, am I on? Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
Can
good.
Can you turn on your video?
Um,
Can you turn on your
Yeah.
video?
I have a new computer today.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I don't know if I can, I used to always be able to.
We'll send Justin over there next time.
Oh, well, Justin helps me. Okay, wait, now it's got
He'll
a
come
red
over
line.
there. But, oh, okay, but proceed with your testimony.
Okay. Well, it says all sorts of things here. I had no idea. So I'm Lucy Freeman. I live at 4719 Fallstone. And in general, I support this plan for, this plan is attainable housing. I would like for it to be affordable housing, but that's not what we see before us. We see attainable housing. When I moved to Somerset in 1975, there were many people here who were, many of the residents who were federal employees, journalists, psychiatrists, and then, some others. And now federal employees, cannot afford to move into Somerset. And I don't know about journalists, but I don't think we have any more journalists. And our psychiatrists have moved, but maybe we have some psychiatrists. But I would like to, we now have a situation, as I have, where the house behind me and the house across the street from me are both going to be torn down. And they are both going to be, big houses, because who builds little houses? And they will both probably sell for $4 million. And what I would like to do is to have a duplex behind me and a duplex across the street so that I could have maybe instead of $4 million, maybe it would be sold for 2 million. And maybe today a federal worker or somebody else. I want to live in a town of diversity. For diversity, I mean diversity of ages, of incomes, of nationalities and races. I don't want it just to be a town in which people can only move in if they can buy a house for $4 million. And are we going to come to the point that I am at where the house behind me, the house in front of me, all of our houses in Somerset will be torn down, not the historic ones, they're safe, but a lot of the other ones torn down for a huge house. When I looked at I went to BCC High School and I saw the picture of two identical buildings and one had 2 doors and one had 1 door. And I thought, that's what I want, a duplex. And I think that the town still has power to make changes in this. Our stormwater, our different plans that we have, our setbacks will still be true from what I read. But, it would just be hopeful. And people have used to, argue against me, the house on Wall Street. Well, everyone's using the same street, the same building. And I'm hoping that we will have the power to get, it duplexes. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you
Now I
very
gotta work
much.
on my video. Well, now my video has to go up anyway.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you. Justin will come drop by and help you out with that.
I think I just have to
Okay.
read it.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming tonight. And if you want to tell any of your friends or neighbors about the 2 other hearings we're going to have, and stay tuned.
We're not gonna stay on just in case someone pops in. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.